might sound surprising, but I don't really care how I came up with the idea of Growlers Choir. To me, that's irrelevant. What I care about is what we do today and how the public feels when they hear us. Yeah, that's really what I care about, what we do, and not necessarily where we came from.
Hey, what's up, Vox and Hops heads? I'm Matt, the vocalist of Cryptopsy and the host of the Vox and Hops Metal Podcast, brought to you by Sound Talent Media and Evergreen Podcasts, where I sit down with fellow metal musicians, talk all about their lives, music, and craft beer. I hope you've been having a killer week so far. I most certainly have been. I am extremely stoked because we are 1 week away from the 4-year anniversary of the Vox and Hops Metal Podcast. That's right, 4 years, people. To celebrate the fact that I've been running this podcast for 4 years, we are having an epic party on October 29th at Turbo House here in Montreal on St. Denis Street. I am going to be recording a live podcast episode where I have put two amazing individuals head to head, a vocal battle. That's right, we got Pascal Germain Berardi, who is a professional classical vocalist, against Sébastien Croteau, the extreme vocal expert. Clean vocals versus harsh vocals. Who is going to come out on top? I can't wait to host this conversation. Both of these musicians are absolutely incredible. I cannot wait. So damn stoked for this live podcast recording happening October 29th at Turbo House for the 4-year anniversary of the podcast. But there is more. That's right. The Great Sabatini, one of my favorite Montreal-based bands, will be performing a very exclusive set for us that night. Come party with me at Turbo House October 29th. Come enjoy life, metal, and craft beer in celebrations of 4 years of Vox and Hops. Now, before we jump into today's episode, I'd just like to ask you to follow the Vox and Hops Metal Podcast on the podcast platform of your choice. But more than that, I would love for you to tell a friend about the podcast. If there's someone in your life that loves metal and craft beer, well, let them know that the Vox and Hops Metal Podcast exists. Tell them that there are over 370 episodes where I sit down with some of the world's best metal musicians. We talk all about their lives and music while sharing a craft beer. If you were to encourage one of your metal and craft beer loving friends to become a future Vox and Hops head, that would be something that I would truly appreciate. Now, today's podcast is an extremely special podcast. I am joined by 4 members of Growlers Choir. Get ready, everyone. This is Vox and Hops episode number 372.
I warn you, what you are about to hear is very disturbing indeed.
Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm very, very stoked to be with Growlers Choir, a very unique group of individuals from Montreal, from the area of Montreal. I only really believe that this is something that could have been built in Montreal, and that's because I'm egotistical and I love my city and I love the metal community and culture that we have here. We are joined by 4 individuals that are part of Growlers Choir. We have basically the leader and 3 of the Growlers themselves. Let's start with a very simple, how are you doing? Introduce yourselves, starting with Pierre-Luc.
Pretty good. We've been really busy for the concert on 27th of October that we're preparing. I've been busy doing management, production, getting some funds for upcoming projects, so it's been pretty good.
Sounds like a good time and a good way to hustle throughout this incoming fall season. It's been weird here in Montreal. It was hot, then cold. Anyways, let's keep moving on. Jeff.
Yeah, I'm doing super great. I'm focusing, of course, right now on the Growlers Choir and all the practices, and in view of this quite extraordinary concert. Like, really, it's something I've never felt, you know, because you're a front man, you feel powerful on stage. I've never felt as powerful as with classical choir in front of me or backing us up. It's fucking crazy.
Goosebumps every night, Jeff. I can just only imagine as you're practicing for this. And then, imagining it and then having it happen, just unbelievable. We are definitely going to dig more into that show you guys got coming up on the 27th of October. No amps, in a church, 40 individuals making noise together. I love that. But let's hear a little bit from Misha. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Really pretty busy. We actually just came back from a practice. It went smooth as butter. And we cannot wait to do this second edition of the show on the 27th. It's just like, as Jeff said, it's a lot of fun to be, it's always a lot of fun as a frontman to be on stage in front of a lot of people. but it's always fun to be up there with a lot of other singers, being part of more of a collective, being part of an instrument, a cog in the wheel. And it's even better being among friends too, so there's that for sure.
Definitely a lot of amazing humans that are part of Growlers Choir. Maude, how are you doing?
Yes, I'm doing great. Thank you. Like all the guys, we're very busy with the show coming up on the 27th. So I've been practicing with the guys. And since I'm also the administrative assistant of Growlers Choir, we've been working a lot behind the scenes to make the show what you will see actually on the 27th.
Very, very, very cool. I would also like to dig in and introduce yourselves as to who you are in the music scene. There are people that will listen to the show, obviously from the Montreal area, the Quebec region, but I have listeners across the globe. So who are you? What have you worked on? What bands have you been in? Starting with Pierre-Luc again, please.
I've never been part of a band, so Growlers Choir is my first official band. My plan was to be the frontman of a one-man act that would tour all by itself. And then next thing you know, I'm fronting a band of 13, 14, 15 people. But my career choice has been mostly revolving around composition, working for clients, working for dance, working for really offering a variety of services in relation to sound design. I did some music for theater. I've done some music for film. And by creating Growlers Choir, I've been trying to just broaden the range of services that we offer. So we're not just a band that does metal songs. We also record sounds for video games. We record, there's a number of gigs I can't talk about at the moment, but there's a number of clients that pay us to do something else than metal singing or metal songs. So that's been very exciting for the last few years.
Very fucking cool. We are very versatile with our voices, and if hustlers, we have to diversify ourselves if we want to be financially viable outside of just the metal music. So good for you for being involved in that and being creative in that aspect. Jeff, what music have you been in? What bands are you in? We could talk about a bunch of stuff. You've been a busy man.
Yeah, I've been busy. I'm the singer from Hollow, which is on extended hiatus because of location and other side projects. I'm also the lead singer for Hands of Despair. I sing, of course, in the Growlers Choir. I am also part of the Monster Factory. I've done quite a few games here and there, quite a few sounds for monsters and games here and there around the years. And I'm also singing for a working project band called Noxium with a bunch of people from here and around everywhere on the internet. It's really good. It's like big slam death metal. And I also recorded with Maude in the Nachtmuse, and we're doing new stuff together again, so it's going to be fun.
I love how intertwined the Montreal music scene is. It's something special here. It's very unique, and I think it's amazing. Misha, bands, you mentioned frontman before. Where are you from? I know you're a producer. That's how I know you as, and I know you as from the Monster Factory.
Yeah. I was in the Monster Factory with my brother Jeff, my sister Mo. But I was the frontman of Sanguine Glasshouse before. Yeah. And at one point I wanted to go a separate way. I wanted to go more into producing, wanted to go more into also other styles of music. So I've been just working as a music producer for a lot of different styles. I've done R&B, slam, hip hop, pop. There's a song I did a few months ago that was actually we were actually hired, me and a singer I produce a lot, to write a song for Senegal, no, for the UN. It's it was a really, really cool gig, and I might actually, nothing confirmed, but I might actually go to Senegal to play for a few songs. That would be really, really nice. But yeah, I've been just producing different styles and doing a lot of composition too. It's kind of funny because, as you said, it's really intertwined because me and Pierre-Luc actually went in the same program in college. Really, actually in the same program. And it's kind of funny how our paths cross again, as everyone should in Montreal, right? You know, all our paths are going to cross anyway. And I've been doing a lot of background stuff back, especially this year. Been doing a lot of metal, doing a lot more metal and getting back into the scene. I recorded piano for someone's upcoming album, and I'll be recording also some stuff with some other people, some stuff I can't really talk about, and actually some personal projects coming in. I might come back to the metal scene pretty soon.
And
Yes.
just to add something, Misha and I have actually been working too on a variety of projects. Whenever I compose something, I like to have it mixed by someone else. Actually, Patrick Goyette, who's in Growlers Choir, who works as a professional mixing engineer. But before I send it over to Pat, often I'll send it to Misha, who'll give me some tips. He'll bring in some new sounds, some mixing tips. So we have kind of like a trifecta of production. And we've worked with each other on several things, and we intend to work on several more gigs. Some with Growlers Choir, some without. But it's been a very productive collaboration.
Yeah, it has. I like to call it the audio threesome. I think it's the best way to describe it.
Sounds sexy. I like it. Maude.
Beautiful.
Yes, like the guys, I'm intertwined. Like I went to college with these two, but I was not in composition. I was in interpretation, piano interpretation. And then Misha invited me to be part of Sanguine Glacialis. And today everybody knows Sanguine Glacialis because of me, actually. And Misha recorded piano for our new album. So we have our new album mixed by Chris Donaldson, of course, the best.
He is the best. Shout out to Chris Donaldson.
The best.
The best.
The best.
And we cannot wait to show it to the world. And apart from that, I'm also part of Valfreya. I'm the violinist in Valfreya. And we are going into the studio with Chris again in December. So third album as well with my two projects. That's amazing. I'm with Growlers Choir. I'm also in the Monster Factory, and now I work as an administrative assistant in the Monster Factory as well. So I'm a voice actress, and my day job is music. So I'm a musician full time, and I take part in projects like Nacht News with Jeff that we did, and a bunch of other projects and many other things.
So we're I don't know if I'm allowed to say the F-bomb, but we're pretty fucking busy.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Vox and Hops is all about hanging out with my metal friends, talking about their lives and music while sharing craft beers. Let's go from left to right or from right to left, depending how you guys are looking at these. Starting with Jeff, what are you drinking? And let's move through this line.
It's really, really cool iced coffee, basically. It's la Coup De Canon from Le Bilboquet. Coffee stout, 5.5% alcohol. It's really light and fresh, and it drinks itself. It's beautiful if you like really, really dark coffee tasting beers.
Hell yes, I do. Caffeine doesn't boil out when you cook with, it's not like with alcohol when you're cooking with alcohol. So the caffeine will affect you later tonight, Jeff, and anyone else that I like to say that because I got caught with that. Totally works. It will really fuck you up. Misha, what are you drinking?
I am drinking a beautiful infusée from Brasseurs Du Monde. It's a white beer, 3T white beer, basically. All of the beers here have been provided by our beer maestro, Jeff, for tonight. As we said, we are fucking busy. But it's absolutely delicious. I like white beer. I like something that's I tend to like a lot of IPAs usually. And I like stuff that's actually pretty heavy, but these last few days I've been very into very light stuff mostly. I like white beer, and I like the fact that it's infused with tea, the little fruity side and everything. It just it's like poetry on my tongue. I love it.
I love it. Pierre-Luc.
So it's a Brasseurs Du Monde, l'infusée. It's a hibiscus and granada. I don't know how to say it in English. But it's
written there.
But I was looking away from it. Pomegranate, hibiscus, and tea white beer. It's really good. I used to shun that kind of beer, but I regret doing that because it's really delicious.
Yeah, it's fruity. It's super good.
Yeah, you missed a spot like right here. I'm kidding.
Yeah, we're actually all drinking l'infusée. Yeah. Thank you, Jeff. It's like in my favorite beers. I'm like the biggest tea drinker you'll ever find out there, and I love fruity stuff, and I love sweet stuff, and I love white beer. So it's like all my
perfect
favorite things.
Perfect combination of everything.
Maybe we should put it on the
Yeah, she got the blueberry one.
Let the Brasseurs Du Monde know that we're always looking for sponsorships. So
Yeah, seriously.
How about we?
Why not?
I can't do that. But I'm going to be drinking Livingstone's Zucchini. If you don't know who Livingston is, it's a very, very small brewery from Franklin, Quebec, which is very close to the border towards Ontario, and they are in farmland. So farms all around them bring them any extra vegetables or fruits or things that they have on hand, and this beer is actually full of zucchinis. So it's an amber brew with zucchinis. I actually tried it at Oktoberfest in the Napantigny a few weeks ago. I really, really enjoy Trevor, their brewer. He's really fucking cool. So that's why I picked this up tonight to share with you. It's a beer that doesn't make sense, but you know, you would think on paper a bunch of growlers standing together doing classical music wouldn't make sense, but it fucking does. Hence why I picked this up. Mainly directed towards Pierre-Luc, this question. 2016, you come up with this idea that you want to do this. It takes you 3 years to pull it off. You finally do it, and then the pandemic slaps you in the face. Where did this idea come from? Drameka, talk to us about what this is, how this concept came together. What were you drinking? What were you smoking? What were you eating? How did you realize that this was going to make sense?
I'd like to preface this answer by saying that the pandemic did not slap us in the face. It fucking crushed our soul, but we still managed through. Yeah. But back to your question, it really came up as a simple thought. I was on my way to the Sunno show, the doom metal band, and I thought, hey, like that's an idea, you know, like a Growlers Choir. So I started talking with my friends who were at the show, Laurent Bellemare, who is today in Growlers Choir. And he said, well, you know, we've all thought about it. We've all we've all wanted to do it, but to his knowledge, it had never been done before. He was wrong. It turns out it was done in 2012 by some Indonesian guy who was just finishing his master's degree. But we really brought this idea to a different place. This band is called Ensemble Ticoro. There's 6 growlers in them, and unbeknown to me, they existed. But my idea of a Growlers Choir was to make this massive, to make this powerful, and to really blend the idea of classical music with the raw power and the raw energy of heavy metal. Yeah. And that's the thing that you can still feel in our performance. We did a performance on Festival de Musique Émergente à Rouyn-Noranda, and just the raw energy of seeing 12, 13, 14 growlers on stage. It's so fucking powerful, man. It's like, I mean, you know what it is. You and the guys have mentioned it, how powerful you feel as a frontman of a band in front of an audience. Well, imagine that times 12, 13, 14. So it's really, I really like the term soul crushing. And I think that's one of the reasons why I did Growlers Choir, because I really wanted to bring people in another dimension through sounds. And I wanted to make them hear things that they never thought possible.
Yeah. And it worked because the police came and had to disperse the crowd because they were blocking the street.
Yeah, we were like expecting 50, 60 people and 300 shows.
Amazing.
On a show that was a secret, essentially.
It was a secret show, and it happened in the streets. And at some point, the street got so crowded that the police came and said, listen, guys, you got to clear the space because you got to clear the street because like you're blocking. I don't know what we were blocking, but anyway, you guys need to move. So it created some commotion. But for some reason, it really attracts people, that raw energy, that raw charisma from the that gathered group of metal vocalists.
It was to the point where it was so crowded that at one point we were looking up, and there were like, because we were in an alley basically,
so
we were looking up, and on the roofs of the buildings were people
were gathering. Down. Wow.
Yeah, it was kind of cool, you know.
Insane fun.
Yeah, it was insane fun. You know, like we all have done the local shows in very, very small venues, low ceilings, very intimate. This time was like in an alley, and it was really, and it had that similar feeling, but at the same time, it was like this level of grandiose that was just, it was, I've never felt before. And it was really something. And we were pulling people together, people that didn't know we existed, that never listened to metal probably in their life. And they were just like, what the hell is this? And we're just pulled in, and it was, yeah, it was a lot of fun to do that show. The energy we got was tremendous.
So yeah, to conclude on your question, it might sound surprising, but I don't really care how I came up with the idea of Growlers Choir. To me, that's irrelevant. What I care about is what we do today and how the public feels when they hear us. And I think the experience we had at Rwanda speaks for itself. And that's really what I care about, what we do, and not necessarily where we came from.
Very interesting. Building it from the beginning, how easy it was to rope in vocalists to be a part of this. Montreal is like an eager scene. We're very interconnected. I imagine Sébastien Croteau was one of the early people that you got in touch with because he knows fucking everyone, and the Monster Factory has everyone basically involved already. But I imagine that was probably the route. That's what I would do.
Yeah, it was, and I like to hear the Jeff, Maude, and Misha on this. It was really easy to get people in. Like right away, people felt that it was special, it was different. I mean, I talked to like a couple of my friends who were growlers, and I said, listen, just create a Facebook conversation, get people in there, and we'll see what happens. Within 48 hours, we already had 40 vocalists. And from there, we said, well, let's create a Facebook group. And that was the first iteration of Growlers Choir that ended up with 18 vocalists. Jeff was there, Misha was there. And that's a question I've never asked you guys, but how did you feel when you first saw that? Like that first meeting we did, or that first conversation?
Well, you contacted me by Facebook, and you said, "Hey, Misha, would you like to be part of a Growlers Choir?" I was like, "You had me at hey, like I haven't seen you in a while. It's been great. I wanted to see you." And then it's like Growlers Choir. I was like, that was like the most beautiful moment in my life. And then we sat down. I'll always remember this moment. We're in a university with everyone, and we sat down. We were doing a test thing, and then at one point during the meeting, Pierre-Luc asked to do everyone a really low guttural. So just imagine, but done by like 18 people. And I went like, oh my God. It was that feeling. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you said it, everybody thought of it. Like I thought of it. So when some strange guy, I don't know, who looks like a nerd, contacts me and asks me to be part of this like super crazy but perfect experience, I'm like, yeah, of course I'm in. Like, who you take me for? I want to experiment with this. This is fucking great.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because Maude, I mean, wasn't part of the original lineup, but she was very interested about that. So I'm curious to learn about her experience getting in.
Yeah, actually, I saw that they were going to do a show. I was not part of the first show, and I got so jealous. Like, I so wanted to be part of that thing. I thought it was so cool. So I wrote to Pierre-Luc. I asked him, like, please take me. Please. Pretty please, please, please. And actually, I did the auditions. Pierre-Luc, when he did it again, he wanted to pick the best. So he did auditions. Even for the members that were there before, everybody had to do the audition.
Yeah, we redid everything.
And that's where I got my chance. I did the audition and I passed. Yeah, but I was a backup singer, actually.
which was a terrible idea.
Oh, my God.
It was a terrible idea, but still, Maude was a backup singer.
So I was a backup singer. So, yeah, I was like, yeah, whatever. I'll go. I'll see what happens. And backup singers just died. Like the idea just died completely. So I was just like a full-time member. It was like just do the gigs like everybody else.
I'd like to underline that the backup singer idea was Seb Croteau's idea. So it's so I'm putting the
right under the bus with Croteau.
Oh, come on, man.
And the funny thing is that today I happen to be his number 2.
Yeah, well, there you go. And she's been helpful also to step up her game, because most of us didn't know how to read music before. She gave us flash courses, and that has upped our game, like seriously, very seriously.
To preface the first iteration of the show, we had basically was the equivalent of, from my experience, an electroacoustic music sheet.
Yeah,
it was not. There was not real. No, it was not an actual anything notation. It was very freeform, and it's
you basically blocks of colors.
Yeah.
And like if it was like a long rectangle or long red rectangle, it means, okay, do a low sound for like 10 seconds and then it turned blue. So it's like, okay, do a mid sound, it's green, do a high sound. And it was just like alternating blocks. So that was a very primitive, but it worked way of writing music for Growlers, but it worked.
Yeah, no, it worked great, especially for that piece, the first piece, because of the way it's done. But then eventually we went like, okay, yeah, we need to step up our game for some other pieces here. And
and the music teacher in me thought it was like terrible to have like I know these types of sheets. I know they exist. I know why they exist. But the music teacher in me was like, "This is so easy. Are you kidding me?"
Well, it's because we were with the other pieces Pierre-Luc was bringing to the table was starting to get a lot more rhythmic, a lot more specific. So we needed to step up our game one way or another. So we had to go back to a very classical form of notation system.
It's just much more precise. Like if you really want to have the correct rhythm, the music system is very well done. I mean, it's centuries of evolution to have like this type of notation. So it's really well done. You can be very, very, very precise in the notation that you want. So I thought it was the most obvious thing. So we did a kind of a hybrid. So it's like a hybrid of vocal parts and drum parts because we don't have any notes.
Pitches,
we don't have an exact pitch, so it's like a different kind of notation. We use specific notes are lows, another note is mid, another note is high. We have like guttural lows, we have like super highs, and this is like a kind of rhythmic notation that we built for Growlers Choir. So that's really just specific to what we do.
Super interesting.
For throat singing, annotations for
whispers, for different types of vocals, like for fry vocal, for growl vocals, for guttural vocals, for all the types of sounds that we do.
Yeah,
very, very interesting, and it does make sense to be extremely precise. And you guys are so rhythmically involved, so many different techniques, so many people. It made sense. It also made sense for you to refine and just take the best, no disrespect to anyone that didn't make the cut to the 2.0 versions of Growlers Choir. Something that comes to my mind when I'm putting a bunch of front men, front women, front people in a room together is egos. We all know that lead singer syndrome
Next question, please.
is a thing. So clearly there was some shitty, annoying things that had to be dealt with until you guys became a community. You probably at this point now have a standard practice when things go, guidelines and stuff of how to behave yourselves. If there are disputes, guys and girls maybe start dating. I'm just all kinds of potential things could be happening from Growlers Choir.
Honestly, since we're all friends, it's the let's say it's the line between work and friendship. Like we have to hurry up, but it's fun to be with the guys and the girls.
It's like all the biggest egos you could find, and you think like you thought the first thing you think is okay, that's going to be a nightmare. And you know what's the worst part? It's not. It's the absolute opposite.
We're gonna have to let Pierre-Luc say that. And
we have too much fun.
No. But Mode was on.
It's like we have so much fun, but it's since we're all big personalities. Try to imagine 15% that are always super and always make a lot of noise together.
It's like I keep saying death metal frontmen are like kindergarten people with egos and opinions.
Yeah.
So it's like you put 15 of those in a room. This guy's gonna suffer a little.
I'm the daycare educator, but Pierre-Luc's been dealing with basically the same thing.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
I don't think ego was a big problem. There never was an attitude problem. Like no one in the I would lie if I said like it never happened. But it's not like every rehearsal someone says, well, you know what, I'm not going to do it because X, Y reason. There's always been an understanding that someone needed to lead the band and someone needed to like pace, like a rhythm, what was happening. But yeah, I guess some of the issues are related to discipline because sometimes, it's a job. People are getting paid. We sign contracts with people. They're expecting us to deliver a product on time. they're expecting to have a specific length, to have a certain quality. So those are the values I have in mind. And whenever I'm telling them to shut the fuck up, well, that's what I'm thinking about. It's just about
it works.
And it works. It's all about professional standards, and you just have to scream loudly enough, and they'll calm down. And I think that's what's fantastic about this group. It's that even when I tell them to shut up, they know it's not personal. I mean, I love them dearly.
Yeah.
I'm not saying to them, hey guys, I'm fucking hating you. That's not the case. It's just, hey, we need to get some stuff done.
Yeah.
You guys need to calm down. And I think there's actually very little ego in that sense in the group.
Yeah, we started understanding pretty quick that we're cogs in the wheel for a bigger thing. We started understanding that very, very quick. And also, it's like, Pierre-Luc mentioned like that, well, I'm not doing this. Well, it's kind of funny because we all still have that from the beginning, from the moment Pierre-Luc asked us to be part of this crazy-ass project. I know from me and for the others, we still have the fuck yeah, let's do it feeling from the initial start point. Yeah. So we joke a lot about the ego and stuff, but it honestly has not been much of an issue. It has not been an issue actually at all to my point of view.
The worst part is actually that we're children.
Yeah, we're kids.
I have a bachelor's in music education. I'm a licensed teacher, and I feel like an elementary school teacher with these guys sometimes.
It's like, to give you an idea, it's like Pierre-Luc says, okay, so can we go to measure 69 and then of course. Of course.
And there's also the odd Schwarzenegger impersonation.
Oh my God. Fuck.
Okay, so we were in Los Angeles for America's Got Talent, and Misha started doing an Arnold Schwarzenegger impersonation, which he will do in 15 seconds. Hold it up for a moment.
It's fine.
And then there's a growler that tells him, listen, Misha, if you do this impersonation one more time, I'm going to go insane. Little did he know, this was the first of 1,000 more moments of impersonation that Misha would do.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, but it's just that I've been already doing a little bit of the impression, but in the Growlers Choir, I found my place as Arnold. It's just, it's part of the choir now. It's important now. I'm starting to scream all over the place. It's very important to everyone. It's so great. I love to scream. It's like working out my muscles from my throat. I have a six-pack in my throat, It's great. Working out. See, I can do a gallows. I've been having a lot of fun.
He did that in sound check.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. He did that in sound check a few weeks ago, and I had to tell him, please, everyone, there's an audience.
No, that's the worst part. Actually, we have a recently new member, Sasha.
Oh my God.
And the best part was that I kind of connect with Sasha. We have a really good comical chemistry. And during the sound check, we actually did it exactly at the same time we didn't even look at each other or nothing. We just went, nah, at the exact same time. It was, that was like, okay, this man is now my brother, no matter what.
It was beautiful. It was so bad. My merch person told me, yeah, I think you should tell them to calm the fuck down. And at some point, I just got used to it. So sometimes, sure, I'm the head of the group, but and to some extent, I'm just as bad as them. And I'm like, I just got used to it. So sometimes people have to remind me, maybe this should stop.
It's gotten so inside the Growlers Choir culture that when we were in LA, we actually went to his star,
to Arnold's star,
star. And we just did this ritual of Arnold, and people were passing by, going, "What the fuck?" As we're all 15 of us going, "Nah!" around the star. So it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun in LA. It just started coming out a lot. Just all the damn time. It was a lot of fun.
Excellent preface to America's Got Talent. Obviously, something special and unique happened when you guys and girls, when Growlers Choir went down there to try out for America's Got Talent. It's probably the most extreme thing that's ever happened on the show. Take me to, and I know you guys, I know you, a lot of you, and I had no idea that you did this. So keeping this in for that long, I don't know what the process is to go there. How long were you there? Applying for it? Take me through A to Z. America's Got Talent, please.
It's a very long process. We started talking about it in 2021. We seriously considered going over there in Los Angeles and shooting season 16. And there was just so much regulations regarding travel because of COVID. We would have needed to get there a week before shooting, stay there another week, come back to Canada, and like quarantine for like a week or two. So we all have day jobs. That was just unthinkable to sacrifice a month of salary just to go there. So we postponed that, but we knew that they were interested because they called us. We didn't call them.
Oh, that's so cool.
They actually sent us an email, one of their casting directors, and said, listen, we saw you on YouTube. We'd be interested in talking with you. And they wanted us to do a show during last autumn. And we weren't interested because they proposed tons of stuff. They proposed tons of ideas of how they can present you. And what they were proposing just wasn't what we were up for. And they said, well, if you say no to us, we can't guarantee that we're going to bring you back. So I said, well, I'm willing to take my chances. And a few months later, I called the senior casting director and I said, so is this happening or what? And they said, oh yeah, like you guys are coming up in April, guaranteed. So they said guaranteed, but it was still a very long and tedious process. We had to go through a lot of propositions of songs. They didn't really know what they wanted, neither did we. And we kind of got a compromise by proposing something that was very dark, very classical, the O Fortuna song, and something that was really jaw-dropping and unexpected, which was a Britney Spears song. So we just went along with that. But we tried so many things. We tried Tim Burton's This Is Halloween from Nightmare Before Christmas. We tried A Whole New World from Aladdin. We tried some Eminem. We proposed The Little Mermaid. Like we really went through the whole songbook and we just went along with it. And I guess a couple of weeks before April 10th, when we were in Los Angeles, they told us, okay, plane tickets are booked. This is happening. And that's pretty much it. There's a lot more to see to the story, but I'm sure the other Maude and Misha and Jeff have some stories of their own to say.
I guess it was the most fun I've ever had traveling with 14 other crazy friends, and well. Not that my other travels haven't been fun, but holy shit, like pretty much like a quarter of the Montreal scene together in this endeavor, and like we go over there, and I'm like, oh, America's Got Talent. I'm not a big fan of the format, the contest winner format. Yeah, well. I got to fist bump Terry Crews, so I'm like, okay, this is cool.
The guy's humongous.
The guy is humongous, but the guy is the sweetest man you will ever meet.
Good, that's good to hear.
Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun to do that. Of course, at the beginning, it was always like, are we doing it? Are we not doing it? Are we doing it? Are we not doing it? We have some. Oh, okay, we don't know. Do we have some? Okay, we don't know. It was always a little bit like
It was like that for months.
It was like that for months, and I think it really did contribute to the absolute batshit craziness that happened in LA because we were like just so excited to go, and we were so on edge to go. It's like a cliffhanger at the end of the season of one of your favorite shows. We were just like, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? And then when we finally got there. We went completely insane, and it was a very, very, very fun trip. As Jeff said, it was an absolute trip. And I'll say I've never actually said this to any of the Growlers people, but I've always been a little bit of a loner. I've never actually felt connections with a lot of people before, but like that weekend cemented the fact that I'm a growler in the Growlers Choir. And I felt it really did to me at least really did so that emotional bond with everyone in it, and it was a really, really fun experience. Arnold included, of course.
Because that's the thing. You don't know how those shows are going to go.
Yeah.
It's
No.
television. You don't know if
You do all of this, and then you might not get on the air.
you might not get on the air. You might not get on stage. You might get on stage, but you might happen to be a laughingstock. So what I told him is, listen, guys, you don't know what's going to happen, but what matters the most is that we're all here together in Los Angeles, and whatever happens, that stays the time that we had together, and that's what matters most. So be aware that what we're going through together is precious, and that's the memory that you should keep, not this whole circus that's happening.
Like the guy said, it was one of the funniest weekends I've had in my life, and we abused way too much of good things.
I don't know what you mean.
I have no idea what you mean,
Some
man.
of us abused more than others.
More than others.
We'll get to that later.
But
To the level
it
of
was like, I've traveled a lot in my life. I was very lucky to be able to travel a lot in my life, and it was one of the most fun I've had in a while. Like, it was insane. And 15 people that have this common interest that is metal music. We're all growlers, we're all metal singers, and we're all friends. Like, before this whole thing, we were all friends. We were all connected in a way. Like you said, the Montreal metal scene is very close.
And we're all confronted to a very pop scene.
Yeah. So it was just 15 of the craziest people you'll ever see in your life, but like strong metalheads and like dropped in pop culture. Go. Have fun.
It was a lot of
And we were
fun.
francophones in an English-speaking place where people did not understand what we were saying.
Oh, dude.
Because we speak
Thank
Québécois.
God.
Yeah.
Hang on.
We speak Québécois. We
yeah.
don't speak
I will
French.
add one little thing that did contribute to the absolute fact that we were like really going completely bonkers and completely insane, is that the premise was that no one would know what we are except us until we got on stage to film. So when we were backstage filming some pre-show stuff, and when we were like waiting for our turn to go on stage, we weren't allowed to make a sound. Mm-hmm. We could not growl. We had to keep it a secret as much as possible. So, and 15 people that are just really aching to growl. We were just kind of like, no, you got this, man. So it was just like really like this. Really, it was so tense. And I remember like the night after we did that show, it was fuck. Oh my god, so much tension was released. It was that was a fun fucking night. Without a doubt. So that really did contribute a lot to the fact that we were just like completely on edge the entire time.
The performance was amazing. You guys
thanks.
kept it a secret from everyone here, though, which is awesome, too. That must have sucked.
Well,
We're used to it with the Monster Factory.
You're in the Monster Factory. You know what it goes. NDAs,
Yeah.
You can't say anything.
Yeah, you can't say
Can't
anything.
talk about anything.
I'm going away this weekend, but you'll find out eventually.
There you go.
Exactly.
Good to know.
Exactly.
I'll
Yeah.
see you next week. Go back to the void.
Obviously, the judges' reactions were amazing. Simon gave you guys some positive feedback. The other people were shocked but seemed interested. Everyone was very interested. The crowd was into it. The Britney Spears song won over a lot of the crowd after scaring them a little bit first. Were you expecting those reactions, or what was your mindset? Did you have any thoughts of how it was going to go?
I was pretty pragmatic about it. I thought if they brought us here to be, for us to be a laughingstock, then it's a very expensive joke, because basically there's 13 of us and we're brought there, all expenses paid, plane tickets. They gave us a per diem. They pay for the housing. So I was pretty sure that they brought us over there to make us look good. But then again, they brought some dance groups and they made them look bad on camera. So we didn't have any expectations. We didn't have any hopes that this would go well. We just thought, let's make this as best as we can. Let's take this as professionally as we can, and let's give the best show we can. And that's what you saw on stage.
It was sick. And then something that I loved, and because I know you all, and on Facebook watching you guys, once it was live, was you guys reacting and the comment section.
Oh, that's my favorite thing, dude.
I spent way too much time on the comment section, man. Way too much time.
There was a lot of like, you guys are Satanists, you guys are devil worshippers. Talk to me about those reactions to that.
It was so much fun.
I think we spent like a good 3 hours like just texting each other and screenshotting the best quotes. I still have a ton in my phone.
Oh, dude, it was so much fun.
Yeah, if you're interested, I can I can shoot you a couple.
Yeah.
I think you should read us the best one, Jeff.
All caps. That was absolutely horrible. Thank goodness they will not go far. Demonize.
Okay, hold on. I got to do a remix. That was absolutely horrible. Thank goodness he will not go far. Demonize.
So yeah, 3 hours of everybody just like sending each other like the worst quotes, and we had a lot of fun that night.
It was so much fun.
You know?
I was stoked when I saw it happened. There was some hype leading up to it. I remember watching it. It was posted into the Monster Factory chat we have on Facebook Messenger. I watched it right away. It's just so damn cool. I was very stoked for you guys, but you're not continuing. Talk to me about that decision.
There were some talks that we would go ahead, and at some point we decided going further down in the competition wasn't for us. We already had some new clients calling for us. We had some opportunities. We had some shows that were booked. So we felt that we had accomplished what we went there for.
Yeah.
And going there a second time wasn't going to bring us anything more. So we just left it at that. And personally, I have no regrets. That's something.
Actually, me neither.
Actually, I had suggested a series of scenarios to the Growlers, and we all agreed on a selection of 2. And we just said, well, listen, America's Got Talent, thank you, but no thank you. We're going to go our separate ways from now on.
Yeah, it was a pretty mutual-ish decision from everyone. It was. And yeah, I think Pierre-Luc reflected exactly how everyone felt about that. Like we went there, we had the fun of our lives, as we just counted, and it was a lot of fun. But like we all felt that we did what needed to be done, and that was pretty much it. And also, yeah, we had the FMR, we had some shows booked and stuff, so we had other priorities, in a certain sense. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, and I do agree with you that you know what you would have come back, performed again, hypothetically not gone through. What would have been the point for Growlers Choir in just to go there and then hypothetically not go through, or go through and then you win? You know what I mean? Like, you guys made the impact. You got the most amount of eyes on the project that you possibly could. It's a massive marketing push. It's very interesting. Piggybacking off of that statement, for the artists that are still in bands and performing in bands now, which is most of you, are you ever worried that this will be the biggest thing that you've ever done? I was just looking before starting this, and there's some dude's Facebook video, some dude, it's not even America Got Talent, has 6 million views of your performance. Just some person. You know what I mean? Is it like something that you thought about, like, this is it, this is the pinnacle of my career? Is that something that bothers you?
Well, it's the most we've been seen.
But, you know, it's the most we've been seen, but what does it mean?
Yeah.
I mean, they saw, and that's something that Growlers Choir does. We adapt for every one of our numbers. So people have seen what we did for America's Got Talent, but was it really us? I don't know. I mean, in a way, what we did at the Rwanda was much closer to our identity, or what we're doing on October 27th is much closer to our identity. So in terms of like mass appeal, probably, but it's not necessarily a value for me. And I mean, I'm not in this business, quote unquote, to get millions of views. I'm here to make kick-ass music and to speak very deeply to people.
Yeah. It was one of those like special moments But yeah, at this point, yeah, just it was really one of those special moments. And to me, in my head, that's what it is. It's like that really was like that little special moment there, the kind of dream weekend that we had in a certain sense. But like you said, it doesn't really represent who we are, and in a certain sense, the Growlers Choir's career. It just really, it was really a specific moment in time. So, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Like, we're a bunch of growlers, but we're not a bunch of growlers that do covers most of the time. Most of the time, what we do is our own music composed by Pierre-Luc or composed by Pascal, who's a growler in the Growlers Choir as well, and he's the director of Temps Fort.
And he's conducting on October 27th.
He's conducting on October 27th. So we're mostly a group that does original compositions. We're not a cover band. So if you're looking into a band that does nice covers and growls, that's not who we are. We're more into experimental music, into modern classical music, into experimental metal music. That's what we do, and that's what we're about. That's actually what we want to sell. And we have plans eventually of a future album, and that's the style you'll have in the album. You won't have like pop. It's not what we're about, really. So
maybe the last track as a bonus. I mean, Bodum did it, so why not?
Yeah, why not?
Did it, why not us? But it's not, it's a bonus, like I said. It's not the content.
It's a special moment that
we're doing.
We're about earth-shaking, groundbreaking music.
Fuck yeah!
I love collabs. I'm not drinking one tonight, but I am drinking this Zucchini from Livingstone Brewing. It's awesome. It's sweet a little bit, light, very light. This is the end of it. I've been thirsty throughout this conversation. It's sweet. It's nice. It's very, very good. Collabs. If there was ever a perfect collab for Growlers Choir, it could be a beer, it could be anything else. I've also made coffees. I've made teas. I love making collabs. I love seeing VOX&HOPS' logo on stuff, Cryptopsy's logo on stuff. What would be the perfect Growlers Choir collab?
Oh, wow.
Fisherman's Friend.
Oh, yeah.
Like, seriously, we often need it.
Yeah.
It's our favorite. We talk about it often.
It might happen sooner than you think.
Oh, okay.
I'm not saying anything. It might happen sooner than you think.
Very cool. I like that very, very, very much. Everyone get ready. October 27th, there is the next edition of the Temps Fort Choir Extreme Vocals. It's a 60-minute show. No amps, 40 vocalists, extreme vocalists, professional clean vocalists, classical vocalists performing together. Where can people get tickets? Give them a shout out. Where should I direct people?
lepointvente.com is where the tickets are available. So it's been pretty much a landmark during the pandemic to sell, as a box office, to sell tickets. We have already a sizable share of tickets sold, so don't wait too long because we might run out.
Good. It will run out, and that will make me excited if it does run out. I will put the link to that in the description of this podcast, too, so that you guys can go click on that and go hang out with Growlers Choir there. This has been amazing. The Thirsty Thursday gang is here with us. I forgot to say this at the beginning of this. We are recording this at a Thirsty Thursday. This is a live podcast interview at Thirsty Thursday gang. We're the first Thursday of the month. I always do this. I love doing that. The Thirsty Thursday gang is here. I typically would open up the floor right now, but before we do that, I am going to play The Day King from Growlers Choir.
exposed upon this blasted barren crag, without the things to make a life, alone, without family nor companion. Long since have those below forsaken me, in teeming cities with laughter and sighs, bathed in warmth and light, having forgot I remain beside this pyre to transmit across the night's depth a sign to those I do not know, have never known, protecting their precious future, one I do not know, one that I shall never share.
That was fucking amazing. Totally fucked up. I like that very, very much. Was that Fortner Anderson doing the...
That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Very, very, very cool.
Yeah, he wrote us the most epic words.
Very, very well. Just is amazing. Goosebumps, goosebumps, and I can only imagine live, not over Zoom audio, the intensity of something like that would portray. We already have someone's hands up. We got Philip De Vitesse, of the host of the Whispers from the Void podcast. Philip, go for a bit.
So my question when I was listening to the song, a question popped. So I was thinking, did a band approach you to do something with them, like a metal band, another metal band, just to have a Growler Choir in their song?
Yeah, we've been collaborating with a band called Kilter. They're from New York. We did a performance with them in July at Fofone Electrique, and they're a jazz metal experimental band. We're supposed to join them back in January in New York to do some experimentation, some showcases with them. And Jeff, Misha, and Maude are all part of the experience.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. You just said jazz and metal, and I'm like, I'm in.
And Kilter features the drummer from Imperial Triumphant, Kenny.
Kenny Kowalski, yeah.
Amazing.
The first time we jammed with him, we kind of went, holy crap. The guy is beyond words.
Have you ever seen a drummer doing polyrhythms by sight reading? The guy did polyrhythms, just sight reading, just with his sheet,
what?
Playing,
And he had never heard the song before. We all had prepare. We needed to prepare.
Yeah,
we practiced a lot. And
inside reading, polyrhythms?
Side reading,
Dude, it was insane.
Okay, so now next time you got to do nested tablets. Inside reading. That's what he did.
I actually saw Imperial Triumphants a few weeks ago. They were in town with Zealand Ardor. And at some point, I just look up, I didn't know who Imperial Triumphant was. So I just looked up the lineup and I was like, oh, Kenny Grahowski. I jammed with this guy. And I was like, no, that can't be the same thing. And I just saw his hands. I was like,
oh, that's definitely him. Yeah.
definitely Kenny's hands.
Interesting.
Thank you, Phil. Colby.
How's everyone doing tonight?
Hey.
Dude.
Is your name really pronounced Colby?
Nah, just for fun.
Oh, okay.
Colby. But that song was epic for one. Super,
Thank you.
You guys were talking about the comments earlier saying satanic this and demonic. That's kind of what came to mind at the same time, but still cool. You guys ever plan on playing like big festivals or anything? Like even say Heavy Montreal? Is that on the docket list at all?
Evenco, if you're listening, come on. We're open.
We're nice.
Bring it on.
But we played FIMAV, which is a festival
International de musique actuelle de Victoriaville.
Yeah.
It's a mouthful.
So it's this is in Victoriaville, and we did the FME, which is in Rwanda, the show we worked. So these are two big festivals, but they're not metal festivals.
Technically.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why you haven't heard of us. We want to go to metal festivals. We try to go there. We just need people to approach us for this.
Yeah.
Actually.
And we need to get an album out.
Yeah, of course. Definitely a main medium that everyone will be able to listen. That like basically.
So yeah, like a medium-term goal, definitely us as a headline in Heavy Montreal.
Yeah,
How about that?
that'd be so cool.
I think like a flaw in the plan of your, this is me being hypercritical right now, your America's Got Talent thing, it would have been really sick for you to drop an album in like September.
Yeah,
Of course.
Yeah. It's just, if you heard what we do, composing this kind of music is a long process. I mean, ask Pierre-Luc, he's the one composing.
It takes a long time.
They're 20 to 30 minute pieces, so it's not like cranking out 7, 8 to 9 minute songs.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, honestly, and I could really actually see Heavy Montreal booking you in the future. I could see Vakken actually hitting you guys up too. Honestly,
that'd be so cool.
I think that
We're
would be
working
something.
for this.
I honestly think I can imagine Vakken happening. Probably with the hype and everything, I wouldn't be surprised if they hit you up this year or next year.
Hopefully.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Because their lineup is done for 2023, so we should ask right now for 2024.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. West Coast Jerry.
You guys had mentioned, I had other questions, but you guys kind of answered them throughout the convo. But you did mention that you guys are working or had worked on a video game. Can you talk about that, what that process was like, what the game was?
Actually, right now we can't say anything.
We can't say anything. I can say it's going to come out in a few weeks.
Okay.
It's pretty big. That's all I can say.
Yeah. Well, one more question I meant to ask about when you drop an album, you guys going to put out vinyl?
Oh, yeah, we'll see.
Dude.
Yeah, well, vinyl production, it costs a lot, and of course, I know there's a demand, but
yeah, and there's only one member of the choir that's from my land, so I'm not so sure.
But like from a budget perspective, I considered it. So I'm not saying yes, but I'm not saying no.
Piggybacking off that question about the vinyls, is Growlers Choir something that you would like to eventually have showcased on a label? Let's say Century Media, Nuclear Blast. That something that you've imagined? Because that would the whole vinyl and doing it yourself independently is a long process. But if you have a machine behind you such as that, is that something that you guys have ever even considered?
Well, if someone wants to produce it for us, yeah, well, of course. Yeah.
We're not. I mean, we're open to the idea, but right now, if we're being very transparent, we're mostly working independently with grants and with grants from the Council for the Arts of Canada, of Quebec, of different instances. So we're not like entirely by ourselves. We're still independent, but we're working with like arts organisms that help artists, and that's how we are able to do most of the work that we do today. So of course, if a label can bring us something similar, I can say, like, because we're professionals, we're working professionally, so we're like a company, so we have money to spend, but we also receive money for what we worked for. And so
budgets, accounting, management. And
exactly. And you guys get paid for like rehearsals now.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is very cool. That's a step up. I like that.
As a full-time musician, I love this. Oh my god!
But,
I do see you guys as marketable, which I've always wanted to have you on the podcast, but the America's Got Talent thing really pushed me over the edge to actually write you guys. I can see like Hey Long, this band just came through, and obviously they have much more of a cultural thing going on but the experience that you guys would bring on a tour would be in the same vein as that, like an atmospheric concert throughout the whole. I can see a label really being into this. Seasons of Mist, hypothetically.
Yeah, we did have a conversation about this.
We had a talk. I saw Hailong on stage in January, right before the pandemic.
Yes.
And I bought a ticket to see them a second time, which was on September 3rd. And we were all on stage, Growlers Choir and I, at Rouyn-Noranda, so I couldn't attend. Had we not been in Rouyn-Noranda, I'm convinced every single one of us would still have been on stage as the choir for Hailong, because I believe that we would definitely be a great opener for them, or they could be a great collaborators.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we kind of provide the same ritualistic, mind-boggling, outworldly experience.
I wouldn't put the whole label thing too far out of your mind, honestly.
I mean, we're open to it. We're just let's see what they have to offer.
Obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
You are many people.
I mean, anything that makes our life easier, really.
The proper relationship, working relationship.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I have one last question, a classic Vox and Hops wrap-up question. It probably doesn't happen to you all very often, but it most definitely probably happened to Pierre-Luc from what I heard earlier, the night after the performance in LA. What are your hangover cures?
Sleep.
Oh my
for
God.
Like 36 hours in a row.
She stole the words from my mouth. Sleep for 36 hours.
This poor man.
That was about it. And people bringing him water and food.
Yeah.
We actually went to check on him just to make sure he was still alive.
We thought he was dead. Like, we came in and it was so funny because we came in, he just opens the door and he's like, and then we're like, dude, are you okay? Pretend to take his temperature, this and that. Here's some food. And we keep talking. And then Pierre just goes, just sits down. We all shut up and he goes, hi, everyone. We just start laughing so hard.
Yeah.
36 hours of sleep.
I mean, we all went to Hollywood, like for a full day. We all went to Hollywood. We all like had a blast in Hollywood. The guy was sleeping the whole time.
Another hangover cure, adrenaline. A lot of it. All of it. Every single drop that your adrenal glands can give, you make them do more, and then you'll be fine.
I like the big greasy breakfast.
Oh, dude,
that's the perfect hangover cure.
Yes, give me something that like drips.
Yeah, and juice and a lot of water.
Water, yes.
Water,
and a good coffee. Not coffee, a good coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Exactly.
Good coffee. I agree.
Good coffee.
Mo, do you have anything to add to that besides from sleep, adrenaline, good coffee, and a greasy breakfast?
Oh, no greasy breakfast. I'm vegan. Sorry, guys, but it's like
vegan can be greasy.
Vegan can be greasy.
Yes, but I'm more like the fruits smoothie team.
Absolutely.
Oh, there's a smoothie in there.
That's why I made brutal juice. But Growlers Choir, everyone, Pierre-Luc, Jeff, Misha, Maude, thank you so much for hanging out with me. The Thirsty Thursday gang. What a pleasure this was. October 27th. Don't sleep on this. Come party. Go hang out. Get goosebumps. It's a unique experience. It's not like something you're going to get anywhere else. You got to come and hang out. October 27th. I will put the link to get tickets in the description, as I said earlier. Thirsty Thursday gang. Unmute yourselves. Let's give the Growlers our best growls to say goodbye. Massive cheers to all of you. This was an absolute pleasure. Unmute yourselves. Make some noise, everyone.
You know my voice is sounding like that. I don't know why.
October 27th. Come, buy tickets. Go crazy in a new church.
Hey, thank you all so much for listening right to the end. You know that I love and appreciate that. Man, this was an awesome hang. I love doing Thirsty Thursday live episode recordings. So much fun to hang out with the gang that we've been together for over 2 years, hanging out on Thursdays, enjoying life, metal, and craft beer together, asking guests questions. What an awesome experience. You should join us. The next one will be coming up on November 3rd, and you can join the Vox and Hops Thirsty Thursday gang on Facebook. The link is always posted there. Massive cheers to Pierre-Luc, Jeff, Misha, and Maude for hanging out with the Thirsty Thursday gang and myself. What an epic journey they've been on. What a project. I'm completely enamored. I cannot wait to go hang out with them on October 27th and watch their full performance here in Montreal. I'm stoked for it. If you can come, you should as well. Huge thank you to Pierre-Luc, Jeff, Maude, and Misha for hanging out with us and being amazing. I can't wait for the next time. Now, if you enjoyed this Vox and Hops episode, you should sign up to the Vox and Hops Metal Podcast mailing list. You can on my website, voxandhops.com. That's VOXANDHOPS.com. And when you do that, you shall receive one email a month that will contain all of the details of everything that has happened recently in the world of the Vox and Hops Metal Podcast. You will get to see which episodes I dropped recently. You also get to see which episodes I have coming up. You will also get to hear about any projects I have in the works before I announce them to the public, and you'll get to see which albums the Vox and Hops album review crew have reviewed recently, and you'll also get to see which bands Jerry Monk, the metal architect himself, has added to the Brutal Awakenings playlist, the most extreme, the most fresh metal music in the world. You want to know what's happening in the music scene? You want to know what's happening underground? Well, the Brutal Awakenings playlist is what you want to be checking out. There is just so much going on in the world of the Vox and Hops Metal Podcast. I'd hate for you to miss a single thing, so please sign up to the mailing list. The Vox and Hops Metal Podcast is brought to you by Sound Talent Media and Evergreen Podcasts. I will be back next week with yet again 2 Vox and Hops episodes, one on Tuesday and another on Friday. But until then, remember to enjoy life, metal, and craft beer. Cheers, Vox and Hops heads.